What's up, everybody? Today's day 2 of the cut, and it's leg day. On my way to the gym. So, since it's leg day, and leg day is the hardest day of the week for me, I do more carbs on leg day. So I'm doing a carb cycling thing. I have some medium carb days, high carb days, low carb days. And really, I just have one high carb day a week right now. And that day is today, Tuesday, leg day. So altogether, probably my favorite day of the week. Both because I love to train legs and I love to eat carbs. So Tuesday is a good day. I really love carb cycling. Give it a try. Basically, I think it makes sense, of course, to put your high carb day on your hardest training day. If you have off days, my off days are Wednesday and Sunday, you can put your low carb days on the off days. And my other 4 training days, I have kind of a medium amount of carbs. So I think the trick is, personally, the way I do it is I keep my protein about the same. I eat about 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body mass. So for me, that's about 195 grams of protein. And that stays the same always. But as the carbs go up, the fats go down, and vice versa. So on my high carb days, I have the least amount of fats. And on my low carb days, I have the most amount of fats. I almost eat, like on my low carb days, I'm almost eating like a keto diet. So, today's high carb day, leg day. I'm going to do some front squats. I'm going to do some reverse hoppers. I'm going to a different gym today than yesterday. Because for 2 reasons. This gym has a really good leg curl. They have a couple different nice leg curl options, which the other gym doesn't have. And they also have a reverse hopper extension, which if your gym doesn't have a reverse hopper extension, I highly recommend finding one that does, if you're lucky enough to have a gym close enough to you that has a reverse hopper. I love to warm up with that. I'll do like 3 sets of 25 reps with a reverse hopper extension. So I'll do that at the beginning of my workout, just before my front squats. I like to warm up the opposing muscle of whatever main movement I'm about to hit, if that makes sense. So today, the main movement, the primary movement of today on leg day is going to be front squats. So that's the quad focus movement, of course. So my warm-up is going to be the reverse hoppers. So that's working like the low back and the glutes and the hamstrings to some degree. So kind of the exact opposite muscles. I like the way it feels whenever you can get those muscles warmed up and filled with blood before you train the opposing muscle. So I have kind of like a secondary leg day towards the end of the week. And the primary movement on that day is like hamstring focused things, like stiff leg deadlifts, for instance. So on that day, I'll warm up with like belt squats. So it's the same thing in reverse, warming up the opposing muscle. keeping everything in balance posturally, and that sort of thing. So, got a couple cups of coffee in me already. Almost at the gym. I'll see you in there.
All right, this is the reverse hyperextension machine I was talking about. So I'm gonna get the little low back, glute, maybe a little bit of hamstring action in this before we hit front squats. We're gonna hit another set. Just put a 10 and a 2.5 on there. We're going for 25 reps on these. It feels so good in the low back. You gotta try these. Louis Simmons invented these when he broke his back, I believe, as a rehabilitative exercise. And you can feel that when it tractions the low back at the bottom of the movement. You let the weight swing underneath the table and it pulls apart the lumbar spine. And then the contraction, it really gets the blood in there. It feels so good. All right, last set. That's it for the warm-ups. Now it's time to hit some front squats. I'm gonna do a few warm-up sets for like 5, 3, 1, and then we're gonna do like 3 sets of 10 to 12 on these. Oh man, I just realized I haven't done front squats in forever. It was just so hard. I got 185 for 10 on the last set, which I forgot to record, but this one's gonna look about the same. Super tough. Here we go. These are kicking my ass. It's just 185 too. I feel like these are the best ab and trap workout, weirdly also. Like I said, it's been forever since I've done these. But guys, if it's been a while since you've done front squats, be prepared to be humbled. Last set. All right, we just finished front squats. Now we have a superset. We're gonna do leg press and then stiff leg dumbbell deficit deadlifts for 12 to 15 reps each. I'm not sure what this leg press feels like, so I'm gonna start with this weight and see how it goes from there. right, I think the weight was just about right on these leg presses. But I realized right off the bat on the stiff leg dumbbell deadlifts that it really wasn't enough weight, and I really couldn't figure out the deficit thing. So I'm gonna pivot on that one. I'm gonna go up in weight, probably gonna use the 100-pound dumbbells, and I'm just gonna do regular stiff legs, no deficit. All right, round 2.
This tune, originally done by Bob.
All right, last set of this superset. I'm gonna go for 15 on this last one. I feel like I kind of jumped out on the first 2 sets by only doing 12. So we're gonna do 15 on this last one. And then I'm gonna stick with the hundreds on the stiff leg dumbbell deads. But this time I'm gonna use the straps because I feel like I could have done more if I could have just held on to the weight. So we're gonna do it. Last one before we hit calves. Lying leg curls, superset into leg extensions. Here we go. Everything's starting to cramp up. I was gonna do 3 sets of this. This might be my last one. We'll see. My hamstrings and calves are starting to cramp up on me. I guess that means it was a good one though. So I'm gonna do at least one more set here.
Whew, that was a leg day right there. That was a tough one. I ended up not filming the calf raises because it started to cramp up. It was one of those where every rep, everything locks up. So I called it. But I think that means it was a success. I think I'm gonna have to get a membership at that gym. I've just been coming in here on leg days lately and just paying for the day pass. But I just realized today it ends up being about the same as a month-to-month membership, doing it that way. And they have a lot of cool stuff in there, at least for around here where I'm from, here in southeast Oklahoma, in the middle of pretty much nowhere. That's a really solid gym, all things considered. Those front squats tore me up. Humbled me big time. The stiff leg dumbbell deadlifts, those felt pretty good. Leg presses were pretty solid. Got a nice burn, nice pump in the quads today and the hamstrings. The hamstrings started to lock up there towards the end. I give that leg day a solid 9 out of 10. Took me about an hour and 20 minutes, including all the warming up. noticed, all of my rep ranges right now are in the somewhere between 10 and 15 reps. Like on the front squats, if it's leg day and today was the primary movement was front squats, I'll do that for 10 to 12. And then pretty much the rest of the workout, I'm trying to hit 12 to 15 reps. That's the rep ranges I'm working in these first 2 weeks of this cut. I'm following like an actual specific training program that I wrote up for myself. So it's like the first 2 weeks, everything's in between 10 and 15 reps. The following 2 weeks, everything is going to be, I'm going to up the weight on everything across the board if I can, and work between 8 to 12 reps. Then it's a little deload, maybe about a half a deload week, maybe a whole week. We'll see how I feel when I get there. And then it's another month of rep ranges between 8 to 10. And then the last 2 weeks of this whole 10-week training block, I'll be working in rep ranges between 6 to 10 reps. So it is actually a periodized program that I'm kind of following. There's a little bit of wiggle room for intuition and just kind of based on how I'm feeling, especially when it comes to the deload weeks, in terms of how many days I actually take off, or I take it about half intensity. Sometimes I'll take the whole entire week. Sometimes I'll just take 3 or 4 days. But you know, it kind of starts, you know, high volume, low intensity. By intensity, I mean specifically like the total amount of weight that I'm using for each movement. So it starts low intensity, high volume, and then it kind of waves up in intensity and down in volume as the weeks go by. And it's kind of a 10-week block. At the end of the 10 weeks, I pick a completely different set of movements for each of the days, start the whole thing over again. So that's basically how I do it. The way that I go about choosing the movements specifically, it's kind of a combination of 2 things. One is, you know, I'm looking at my progress pictures that I'm taking. I take progress pictures maybe like once a month. And looks like there might be a new gym opening up right there. Daily Roots. No, it's not a gym. It's a power sports. I guess maybe like a renting car, Jeeps and stuff. Got a little excited there for a second. What was I saying? Oh, how I choose the movements for each 10-week block. The main way is I'm looking at progress pictures that I'm taking once a month. And I'm just checking my physique out. Say, for instance, on the last progress pictures I took, I realized I need a lot more delts. I mean, you can tell just by me sitting here. I've always had pretty weak delts, physique-wise and strength-wise. So I need to do a lot more delt work on this phase. Lats, outer sweep of the quads, hamstrings, lower pecs, the lower part of my chest. So I'm choosing movements. I'm setting my split up and choosing my movements based entirely on that. And, you know, what I did the previous 10 weeks. So, you know, I try not to do a lot of the same, you know, really any of the movements I did in the previous 10 weeks. I like to set it up structured like this rather than just going one work at a time, completely intuitively. Because I feel like if you go purely based off intuition all the time, it's super easy to just get in the rut doing the same things. Whereas if you write yourself a program out that's structured in a way that waves itself up in intensity and down in volume, or however you're going to do the periodization, it gives you time to really think about what movements you've already done, to not do those for a while, choose a completely different set of movements for a while and do that instead. For me, at least, it makes me more creative. I think my workouts are way more effective, diverse. I'm working on my weak points more efficiently doing it that way than if I just had absolutely no plan going in and just, went purely off intuition from one workout to the next. This also probably just personal preference. I kind of tend to be like highly organized on stuff, so I kind of get off on that also, So there's probably just a little bit of personality involved in that, but also I really feel like it does make a lot of sense. Scientifically, I guess you could say. Anyways, I think that's about all for now. Thanks for watching.